just give a suggestion that I know that part of the application will be the fees. The city of Bayonne passed a merit-based system that I think would be good for the township as well, because it promotes environmental standards, labor standards, and local ownership as well. City of Bayonne did a good job of doing that on a merit-based system, so that way it's not a free-for-all. There's actually a way of winning a license.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Anybody else? Okay, we'll close the public portion. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second motion.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Coons?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Sippel?
Yes?
Ordinance number 21-15, an ordinance amending Chapter 7, Article 12, Section 16, entitled Speed Limits of the Code of the Township of Lower. This is the second reading and public hearing of this ordinance. This ordinance has been published, posted, and made available to the public.
Are any council comments on this?
No.
No council comments?
I want to make a comment. This ordinance is basically a result of some residents coming in, and I live in an area that is affected there also. The speed limit has always been 35, as long as I can remember as a child, and the whole entire area has changed. It's fully developed, so the ordinance restriction is basically down to 25.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I think in addition, we actually did some double striping there with yellow lines for no passing zone too, for that street. Anybody from the public want to comment on that ordinance? Close the public portion. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Coons?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Sippel?
Yes. You have anything, Mr. Laffey, or are you good? No. Okay.
No.
Okay, this time, we're going to open up to the public for public comments. Anybody from the public want to come forward?
Jim Sanford, Diamond Beach. When I was here 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned the issues regarding water supply in Diamond Beach, since then, I have received documentation from Wildwood Water, basically saying that they had no idea that Icona was adding 20 units to their hotel, and that now with the 29 townhouses, the review of that finds numerous issues that need to be corrected if that is passed. So that's an ongoing thing right now. I did ask the council to look into that. Did you guys come back with any type of comment regarding the water issue?
I'll cover that in my comments when it comes to me.
Second issue is, as Susan brought up before, and I think you guys didn't know about that, was because I think that was delivered to the Public Works Department, Gary Douglas, and that was in response to no response from the Public Works Department to the DEP. I mean, you got to go some distance in order to get a violation notice from the DEP that states $50,000 a day for each violation. So that's why you may not be aware of that. But even more concerning is something that happened yesterday. Yesterday, Diamond Beach residents were harassed when they attempted to approach the Icona Free Beach area, the high water tarp. One of the Icona Beach facilities managers by the name of Gary tried discouraging Diamond Beach residents from entering that area. He actually said he was going to call the police. The resident said, okay, fine, call him. And then he backed off. Then another family with children went into that area. An Icona guest took it upon themselves to turn around and harass this family with vulgarities. That wound up with 3 Lower Township police officers showing up on scene. Now, that's ridiculous. That, number one, that Icona thinks that they own everything on that beach. And number 2, that they allow their guests to harass Diamond Beach residents. Now, we are Lower Township residents as well. How this council can allow that to go without reprimanding Icona about it is absolutely amazing, okay? And I don't think you're going to do it. I do know, I think you got phone calls today, Mike Laffey, about it. Am I right? Okay. And that's a pretty sad state of affairs. There was also a conversation with the Icona construction manager. His name is Mark. He turned around and said, next year, you will not have any of this beach. Icona will own it all. Now, this is absolutely asinine that we're putting up with this type of harassment. The Grand doesn't do it. Sea Point doesn't do it. The Diamond Club doesn't do it. Why does Icona think they can get away with doing it? Why? Because they pretty much have carte blanche to do whatever they want, okay? Because they don't, what they do is not reported. Their parking lot at 9600, where they're turning around trying to put 29 townhouses, takes 100 cars a weekend for their venues. The parking overflows onto Seaview Avenue, the Valet Avenue, Rochester, Jefferson. I have Wildwood Crest residents here to testify against this. This is getting out of hand. The sixth floor isn't even done. I have pictures of high-lows raising furniture in the middle of the day to the sixth floor while people are walking to the beach. There's no control down there. If something goes wrong and that stuff falls, who's going to get hurt? This is out of control. You can't keep allowing or turning a deaf ear to what's going on in Diamond Beach. I said, we have the water issue. I also contacted Lower Township MUA, and they have no idea what's going on regarding the 29 townhouses or the 20 rooms in the hotel. The 6 on the corner of Rochester and Pacific, that builder came in there and is basically laying everything out to him, paying all the fees, doing whatever he's supposed to be doing. Nothing else is being alerted to the different utility authorities. That's why when the DEP came out and said, hey, you can't put 50-some units there. You have to put a water tower. That's why Icona is circumventing the system. It's that simple. You guys need to look into it. We can't do anything because if the planning board passes it and they do it because of misrepresentations, it's on the planning board to go back and check that out. I mean, using an R6 area for a parking lot so that you can have venues and put people in Star Bars and put people from Cape May and Icona and Avalon on Diamond Beach and then harass the residents, it's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Mike, what else did you hear? I talked to some of the officers this morning about what had happened and that they actually told the Icona guest to move because they did stick up for the Diamond Beach residents, that they know that that is a DEP reg, that we're allowed to use the high water mark of that beach. Anything, Mike, you want to add?
Yeah, I do. That particular beach, along with the other beaches, are private beaches up to the high water mark. So there is access to those beaches. I contacted the DEP in that regard, and I've gotten some areas that anyone can go to through the beach access. Of course, some of the access ways are private for just their guests, but there are several accesses that they can use to get down to the high water mark.
Yeah, well, the grand...
We're going to mark that out,
Yeah.
that high water mark. There's 2 lifeguard stands specifically near the Icona, that just beyond that is the high water mark area that the public can go, and we
Right.
found that out today.
Grand, at the ramp that you helped have installed at the end of Rochester Avenue, the Grand has signs clearly saying, public beach access, blah, 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 yada, yada, no problem. If you want to go to the Grand side of the beach, you can, that's private. Icona has everything plastered, private beach, Icona Beach, no public access signs whatsoever, and that now what's happening is all of the contractors that are working on the 6th floor of the Icona, I have pictures in my phone if you want to see them, are now parking all down the end of Rochester and Richmond, trying to block access to the beach. This is getting out of hand. We do thank you for the increased police presence in Diamond Beach. That has really turned out to be work to our advantage in regards to responses and all. So,
Yeah, let me jump in, Mr. Stanford. I spoke to the manager this afternoon. He was working this issue when I came in for the meeting. He's going to meet with the police department, I think, tomorrow. Okay, he's going to meet with the Icona staff. Maybe some folks need to be educated a little bit. I don't know, but he's going to work the issue, okay?
okay.
He'll work the issue.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you
Okay,
for your time.
thank you. Anybody else from the public? Yes, ma'am, come back up.
As I told you, I live on East Jacksonville Avenue. And as you know, and part of your agenda was with the company that's been paving, we had East Miami, East Florida, and East Jacksonville Avenue all closed at the same time at the top. And we didn't know. And so it was like a mouse going in a maze of which street can we get out of to get to Bay Shore. And so wisely, I thought, I looked on the police website, because I know sometimes, like when Pulling Mill was closed and Bay Shore at the same time because of that problem that happened, it would be listed. And so I looked to see, okay, how long is this going to be, and what street should I take to get out without, and coming home, the same thing, because I almost got rear-ended on Bay Shore because I didn't know they reclosed East Jacksonville. Can we put this in the news someplace? Like,
Yes.
these roads are closed.
Yeah. Mr. Laff will look into that for us, moving forward, but we understand.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure whether you're done with my street, because the one day I came home and lower, I think it was Pirate, cross streets going over, they had a sign there, road closed. And it's like, it's like they're popping up just like dandelion, and we don't know what to expect. So I don't know how farther down you're coming down the street. I'm not saying it doesn't need it. This streets honestly do need it, and I applaud your efforts for doing that. So.
Yeah, we have a notification system called Nexel, the police department puts out. Most of the time, it's email or text, okay?
I
And,
am a dinosaur with technology.
Right, so we'll work on getting the information out there for you.
I do some things on the computer. I don't do a whole lot, but I do check, like, the police website to see whether there's a road closed and timelines. And they're usually pretty good about doing it. I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything on Township's website either. And so it was just perplexing, and I'd have to sometimes rely on some of my neighbors, which are far and few, because, as you know, we're basically a summer community, and I'm not, my neighbors that I have aren't. And I go like, could you get out today? Could you get up to the main road? So if you could look into that or do something about that, I think a lot of people would appreciate it.
Yes.
And just on a personal comment, I want to say, and I did premise the gateway drug with in the 1990s, although personally I still feel it is one, again, based on my experience and everything with life. I have never done drugs in my life. I grew up with 2 World War II parents. My mother outranked my father, and so I had a very strict upbringing, and I'm not saying that was bad. It was actually good. And I grew up in northwest New Jersey in a little town. I'm a small town person. Okay. And the other thing is, you will never see me in a liquor store. You will never see me in a bar drinking. I don't drink either. Good. So, on that note, thank you for humoring a senior citizen, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Ma'am, real quick, the Nixle system, and down here, the Nixle system, there's information, you just sign up, it gives you alerts by phone.
Well,
It's simple, but that's the only way we really have, because I will tell you, when they came down my street and did States Avenue, it was the same thing. Getting up the next morning, drive it, and all of a sudden your cross street's closed down. It's like, okay, what do I do? And I'm on a dead end. So they did let us through, but I understand your pain. We're working on that. That's why we got the Nixle system. We're trying to get everything coordinated so people know, because the key thing is to get information out to people.
but I don't understand understand, because there was even something in the Herald, I think it was, with something with the emergency system in Cape May County, and I thought, well, that sounds out for hurricanes and floods or whatever, and I thought, well, that's probably a good thing to sign up for. I couldn't do it. I didn't even know what they were talking about. I don't know the terminology. My job did not require me to know technology. And so my job was to talk to parents of special needs children. And so I spoke with them, I reviewed documents with them, I went to meetings with them, I have a mediator certification, I went to meetings to mediate so both sides would stop posturing and come back to work for somebody. So I didn't need to know technology.
Well, this is the simple one. They tried, because we had a lot of information going out from the mayor throughout the COVID
And
thing.
I'm too old to go back to school
Doubt
to
that
learn it.
if you get text, you could get it on the Nixle system.
I don't,
Okay, then, that's it, I give up. I'm trying to make it easy.
I'm a simple person.
All right, thank you, then. Anybody else?
About every
Okay, well, yes, sir.
months.
I just want to reiterate what Jim Sanford said. The Icona is very tricky. And the thing that's really bugging me now about the trickery that they're putting us through again is the water tower situation. 3 years ago, before you gave them, or not you, the planning board gave them approval to put the houses behind Jefferson Avenue. And by the way, Jim, you always say they're townhouses. Icona represented it on their plans that they're townhouses. They are condos. They are 4-story condos, 8 in a building. That makes it a condo, not a townhouse. That's number one deception. Number two deception is they just built 21 units on the Icona. I'm not sure exactly about the permitting about that. I'm still checking into where the permits came from on that. But if the trickery is, the planning board approved them for, I think, 48 or 52 units behind us. Now it's down to 29. You all know why it's down to 29. Because if you go under 30, they will not require a tower. But what they forgot was they built 21 units right diagonal from this property. 21 and 29 are 50. They are putting it over with the 29 units. Somebody has to look into this deception. The parking, we all know that they are light on parking, extremely light on parking, for their own building. And that was approved by the planning board. How? I don't know. But it was approved. Now we're short 50 parking spaces for these people on the 20th floor, or whatever, the 21 units. You should see what went on this past weekend. You should see what went on the last 5 weekends with 2 weddings at the same time in that building. There are people parking in our driveways. What, I've been begging you. I begged you last time, 2 weeks ago. Please, help. Help us with this. There's people everywhere, and I know it's a resort area. Where do you think they go when they can't get access to Diamond Beach? Jefferson Avenue is the first free beach in all that area. I ask people, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Cape May. They don't want to pay beach tags. Where are you from? Diamond Beach. We're not allowed to cross over to get in to the water. So we have to go here. Well, we plunk right here then. People got yelled at, and these people that are yelling at people are not realizing they're yelling at people that are sitting on Wildwood Crest's beach. See, Wildwood Crest put their posts in so that the emergency guys can come down, the trucks can come down. They left 15 feet between this post and this post, where where the Grand has all their signs that say private beach, and that's fine. They have that right. But there's a space of 15 feet that is the crests, and we're getting yelled at for sitting there. Of course, they can't do anything about it because they don't know which police to call. So my point is, there is going to be, the water department has not backed down from the fact that there will be a water tower in Diamond Beach if he's allowed to build those units. And I said this before at a meeting when he started with all this building behind us. Why can't he just build homes? Real townhouses. 2.5-story townhouses. Like, it's a neighborhood. Don't put another high-rise right there, and you'll know it's 15 feet from my fence with balconies. That's what he's building, with balconies, which puts it, by the way, 10 feet away from our property line. So my point is, make them do the right thing. Make them build the correct thing in that lot. And where are those 100 and some cars? There's more than 100 cars on the lot because they park along our fence. I had a guy, here's my fence, there's a guy in a pickup truck standing in his pickup truck looking over in my pool. I mean, it wasn't his fault, he wasn't doing it on purpose, he just had no choice. You see it, you look at it. But he's parking along the fence, which is illegal, I guess, because there's no spot. But they have no other place to go. Workers, people in the weddings, everybody's parking in that lot. So where are 100 and some cars going to go when that lot is gone for building purposes? Somebody has to look into this. I know it's been approved, but they're deceiving everybody with all this stuff that they're doing. And I know he brings jobs, I know he brings revenue. By the way, the construction that he did on that 6-4 were his guys from Pennsylvania who came and did the work. Not one person was from New Jersey. I asked them, not Eustace, I asked the workers there, because I kept seeing all these cars from PA. I said, where are you guys from? He said, well, we're part of his crew. So I'm just tired of the deception. Don't let them get over on us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Come up to the microphone. We can't hear you unless you're recorded.
I said that to the mayor.
In reference to what Phil's talking about, we have terrible water pressure as it is, and if we need a water tower and you put a 6th floor on, what happens if there's a fire in this area? What's going to happen? Who maintains Lower Township, Diamond Beach areas fire department? Not Wildwood, right, Crest. We don't even have water pressure now. So what's going to happen when he does all that? And then what happens if something happens and we need the fire department? And we have a 6th floor now. I mean, there's a whole lot more to this, and the infrastructure really needs to be looked at. Not only with the drainage, the water, everything, the parking, the new developments. I have the 6 townhomes that went on our street, which aren't even being added into all that. We have 6 more on Richmond Avenue. And we don't have, look what I have now. I have a flood in my street, and you're putting houses down the end of the street. So it's a very big problem to all of you. I mean, something needs to be done with it. There's a lot of residents, and we're all getting very upset because it's not one thing, it's many. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I share the same concerns as my neighbor, 302 East Jefferson, where the proposed 29-unit condo is going. Literally, it's originally was supposed to be 28 feet, then they moved it to 15 feet, and like you said, with the balconies going over 5 feet, it's just now 10 feet of space. On top of that, we know that they're not going to be all year-round residents, they're going to be rentals, and we know what happens in the hotels and other rentals, and also Airbnbs. You always hear an article, somebody gets out of hand, somebody drinks or whatever, and then bottle starts going, cigarettes get flicked, and where do you think that's going to go? In our backyard. Now, between my grandparents, my mom, we've been here since 1976. I'm here representing my mom. That's a major concern there. On top of that, it's where are these people going to park? I mean, we have family that tries to come down to us, and like I said, this weekend, there was a wedding almost every week, every day. Now, that's great for them, but they park on Jefferson, they park on Seaview, they park all up and down the street. It's really incredible. And like my neighbor Phil said, why can't they just do townhouses? Like, if you look down the street, there's nice 2-level, 2.5-story level townhouses. But putting a 6-story condo right behind us, I mean, that's one, again, adding the water issue, the sewer issue, the infrastructure issue, and again, parking. Where are they going to go? And also then, here we go again now with beach access. Already there's an issue with beach access because you have now the Icona fighting with the people trying to get at least onto the portion of the beach that they're allowed to. Where are these people going to go? Are they going to have the same issue with the Grand and the Icona? If not, I mean, yes, they'll come over to Wildwood, which, yes, it is a wide beach, but again, where are these people going to go? And those are my concerns. The traffic, the number of levels, how close it's going to be to the house, and on top of that, if it does go through, they're going to be ramming the pilings, steel pilings or whatever behind our house, which is about 10, 15 feet. Now, they always say, oh, we'll come back, we'll fix it. We've been down that rodeo twice. We've been this rodeo here in New Jersey, in northern New Jersey. We experience this currently. We work in Tennessee, and we had blasting, and we had people come out because we had the same thing. Oh, we're going to cover it. Had him come in, and he said, nope, can't do anything. Here, we're going to have them literally 10, 15 feet ramming behind our house to support a 6-story building. And again, that could lead to, I've heard when they were putting up the ugly building, the Grand, we had neighbors' windows being broken, foundations cracking, tiles cracking from that. And that's, on the beach side. Here it's going to be right behind all our neighbors' homes. Again, I know something is going to go there. It's just, I would ask to see if you can make it like a town home, not a condo. Thank you.
Thank you.
From Jefferson Avenue. I find it interesting. I came to a meeting, I'm making a comment because I know we're not allowed to ask questions. Last meeting we came to, a couple people asked questions and we're told, this isn't question and answer, it's only comment. You guys all answered 3 or 4 questions tonight. I thought it was only comment.
They have to be easy questions.
Yeah, really. Last year, I came to a meeting where there was a gentleman in the Villas who had a lot. And he had a house that he wanted to tear down and put up a twin. A nice, affordable family house. That board, and it wasn't all of you then, that board ruminated about the extra traffic that this additional house was going to bring to the neighbors. I sat there, I almost wanted to open a vein. You were worried about one house, and now you see what's going on behind us? When Phil calls it shenanigans, it is. It's like the sleight of hand. Look over here. Here's the bright, shiny object. But meanwhile, under here is what's happening. I understand Eustis Meta brings revenue. I get it. Pennsylvania workers. But you can't keep looking the other way and giving him carte blanche to do anything he wants to do. Those pilings that my neighbor just mentioned, when they did the Grand, it was hideous. for weeks on end. The whole house would vibrate, and that was way across the street. House would vibrate, we had tile installed, it was cracked. My neighbor's foundation was cracked, windows were broken just from that vibration. I brought this up when the planning board, in their infinite wisdom, decided to approve his latest project. We said, what about damage? And the attorney said, oh, no problem, no problem. We will come back and take care of all the damage. Well, some guy with a clipboard came, wrote everything down, and that was the last we ever heard. We have since put in a new bathroom, new tile, new flooring, new drywall. You start pounding that stuff 15 feet from our house, the property line, what do you think is going to happen? I have no recourse. You're not going to do anything. Nobody's going to do anything. Eustace is going to go on his merry way, demolish something else, and build something else. You have to start paying attention to that area. It's important. It's a revenue base for you. What would you do without Diamond Beach? You're keeping all the lower township villas, their taxes are low. Lower township has to pay attention. And don't look at me and say, but you're Wildwood Crest. I live right there. My backyard is lower. I've been to more of these meetings than some of your residents. So just my plea is, pay attention. Take a ride over the bridge. If you can get over the bridge, God forbid a fire truck can't get over the bridge. Speaking of fire, there's no way for a fire truck to get down what the planning board approved. Fire cannot get down that 15-foot lane. So maybe you want to go back and take a look at some of your previous approvals, because they need to be looked at. Thank you.
We'll close the public portion of the meeting. And
Hello, my name is Vince DiRienzo. I am 308 East Jefferson Avenue in Wildwood Crest. I want to just back my neighbors up and just say that everything they say is 100% accurate. I'm a firefighter in North Jersey for 38 years, and I can appreciate the fire service not being able to tend to the building that's going on there. Along with the parking lot, the storage yard, the lumber yard, the constant in and out with telescopic forklifts, tractors, and trucks that are going in and out of that property right now. I don't know what's going on. My father built that house 45 years ago, and it's been a constant juggle of moving cars. Every time you move, somebody moves, hurry up, get the keys. Oh, whose car is that? You know, it's crazy. How do you live like that? We've been doing this for 45 years. It's just unbelievable. My father was on dialysis. I had to take him one day. My sisters were all on the beach. I didn't know where their keys were, whatever. My car was pinned in 2 inches on this side of the bumper and 2 inches on this side of the bumper. I had to call a taxi. How do we live like that? That's just ridiculous. I mean, you got to help us. We're citizens. We don't vote for you because we live in Wildwood Crest, but we're human beings, and we should be treated like human beings and citizens of Wildwood as much as we're good stewards of the environment for Wildwood Crest and for Lower Township. I'm picking up trash on the beach. It's flying over from the Grand. I do it because I do it, you know, and it's just what we do. And we're all good people, and we just need to be treated so. Thank you.
thank you. Okay, we'll close the public portion, and we'll go to council comments. Councilman Conrad.
Keeping it short, we had the fireworks Saturday night. I want to big shout out to the rec department, Public Works, and the police, and the fire companies that came out. And in Spear, it was a wonderful job, and Mitch made the right call, getting them done early, because where I was standing, it started raining. That's it.
Thank you, Councilman Coombs.
Well, Councilman Conrad took my first item, but just a reminder that the concert series starts tomorrow.
Okay, Councilman Roy.
I have nothing further.
Deputy Mayor?
Hey, only one thing I want to comment on is the infrastructure, the storm drain issue over there in Diamond Beach. Is Mark de Blasio's
Yeah. and-
working on that also?
And looking at this letter even, Deputy Mayor, that first time I saw it, of
That was a
course.
shocker.
Some of the things that we've discussed with the engineer are being implemented with some county assistance as well. So we're digging into it to come up with a plan to help with some of those issues over in Diamond Beach as we speak.
Okay, also, while we're still talking about infrastructure, how about Evergreen?
That's another thing. Of course, we reallocated some funding in those bond ordinance for just that stuff. So Mark will be giving us a plan of action to try and assist with that project down there as well.
Okay, and back to Diamond Beach on Richmond, I take it that the mosquito department is going to do basically the same thing they did at the end of Roseanne Avenue, where they're going to dig out.
And then that way we can look through that pipe as well with a camera to see where the blockage is, as well as create some space for that water to be alleviated from what that young lady was talking about.
Okay. We had another similar drainage problem in another area in the township, and the first thing that happened is the mosquito department did come in. They have machines that can go on the marsh, and they basically dug out the area where that drain pipe would go out into the marsh, and therefore that allowed people, or actually, like the manager said, cameras to actually get inside the pipe and see exactly what's going on. Is there damage inside the pipe under the road we don't know about? Is the pipe okay? Was it just clogged? Whatever the case may be. So that's probably, I take the same steps we're going to take there. And that problem was Roseanne Avenue project. It was probably the biggest infrastructure project we did in the township, as long as I've lived here, which there were some major problems with the drainage pipe. It's not as old over there in Diamond Beach as to what Roseanne Avenue was, but it could be damaged or not installed properly or whatever, but
My understanding is the street has been the way it is since the development was built.
well, we'll be able to find out. Once he can get in there with a camera, then the engineer can exactly see what's going on and have the problem corrected. And that project will be, you'll see another ordinance come up where we're either bonding more money or allocating more money for that issue to be taken care of.
Thank you so much. I
Yep.
appreciate it.
Madison Avenue is already being worked on, so.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I won't last, so everybody kind of talked about all my issues here, except for I will comment on the Diamond Beach. I sat down with the Director of Planning, Mr. Galestock, and Mr. Laffey last week. We looked at a lot of projects over in Diamond Beach, and, I know, I hear a lot of frustration out here, but 95% of your issues have to be handled by the planning board. They have a solicitor that specializes in land use. They have an engineer over there who signs off on these conditional approvals. So, you have to voice those concerns to the planning board. I do have a letter from the Wildwood Water Utility Company back in March 14, 2018, reference to the Icona application for the 26-unit condominium building, they call it here. So there was a letter, there was communication back to the township. They had to come back and respond back when a couple of due outs here, I'll call them. In addition, they had to go to, this is Icona, had to go to New Jersey DEP Water Main Extension certification, will also be required. So they had to go back to the state for another approval. So there must be approvals out there, otherwise the engineer will not sign off on their project. So we did meet with them, with the Director of Planning, myself and the manager. We addressed it, but I would recommend that you attend the planning board with any kind of concerns or any questions you have, and bring it to the solicitor over there and the engineer over there that specializes in land use law in New Jersey. So that's all I have, and I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
So, in my office,